Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing part 2 of my new series, which is called My Full Fragrance Collection. Now, in case you have not seen part 1, the idea of this series is pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, it's basically me showing you my full fragrance collection. I currently own around 65-ish fragrances, something like that. And I kind of wanted to show them all to you, but because there are 60-ish fragrances, it would just be a very long video. So I decided to split it up into categories. The last video, so the first one that I made was the cozy, soft, vanilla type of fragrances. Probably my favorite category, but today is also a really nice category, especially now that we're in the mid of September. The category of today is the winter and fall fragrances. So pretty much what I consider winter and fall fragrances are the fragrances that have some ambers in them, some woody notes, some moss, a little bit of patchouli. Those are notes that very often I find more suitable for the colder months. Also fragrances that are more like evening type of fragrances, or fragrances that I consider to be better worn in darker weather or in the evenings. Yeah, that's sort of what I consider to be fall and winter fragrances. Of course, there will be some fragrances in here that you can just wear year round. I mean, you can wear every fragrance year round, obviously, but yeah, these are the ones that I would gravitate towards to when the weather gets colder and the days are shorter and the nights longer. So because today we have 14 fragrances, I will keep it a bit shorter than the previous video. In the previous video, I had around 9 fragrances and the video ended up being 40 minutes long. So I realized that I may have been talking a little bit too much. So I'm gonna keep it a little bit shorter. As you can see, I don't have a super aesthetically pleasing tray. I see other YouTubers on YouTube having like super fancy fragrance trays. I don't have that. I just used the lid of a box, a cardboard box, and it'll just have to do. But don't worry about it. The fragrances in itself, of course, are still beautiful. And also someone commented on my previous video saying that I said too much, and they were kind of right. I rewatched my own video and yeah, I did say quite a lot, so apologies for that, even though the person saying it was a little bit rude the way they said it, but I kind of get it. So today I am going to try and not say too much, and if I do, I'm going to try and edit it out. But of course, here and there I will still say because I have a baby, I'm sleep deprived, and English is not my native language. So okay, so let's just get started with the first one. And the first one is one that I'm actually a little bit hesitant about putting it into this category. It is this iconic bottle that you probably already know. It is Good Girl by Herrera. And the reason that I said that I'm not sure if I picked the right category for this one is because it could also fit into the warm florals category that I have not yet recorded, but I'm going to in, I don't know when. But anyway, so that one would be suitable for that category as well. But in short, in case you don't know this fragrance, this is very, very popular amongst non-fragrance addicts, let's say, but in the fragrance community, I feel like it's very hated. So the opinions on this fragrance are very, very divided. You either love it or you hate it, and because I have it in my collection, clearly I love it. I remember the first time when I smelt it, and I believe my eyes actually rolled into the back of my head because I thought it was so amazing. Whenever I smell it on someone else, I still get that, oh my god, you smell so good feeling. So I still love it. I don't really wear it as often anymore, but like I said, whenever someone passes by and they're wearing Good Girl, I always It always reminds me of what an amazing fragrance this is, or at least in my opinion. Again, it is very hated as well. A lot of people do not like this fragrance. Maybe because they're a little bit tired of smelling it, or it smells too designery. Not sure, but for me, it's still a win. And in case you don't know this fragrance, it's a warm, vanilla, tuberosy, white floral type of fragrance. But the thing that I love about this one so much, and I remember thinking this when I first smelled it years ago, is that it has a little bit of everything, and somehow I believe Louise Turner is the nose behind this fragrance. Somehow she managed to perfectly combine the white florals, the sweetness, because it also has cacao, and then the vanilla. So the white florals, the sweetness of the sweeter notes, and then also some citrusiness. There's like a little bit of citrusiness, not sure what the note exactly is, but I don't know how she did it, but it just blends together so well. Yeah, and I also have some memories attached to this fragrance now. So for me, it's still a win. Again, I know a lot of people hate it. Let me know in the comments, are you team love or team hate? There are so many flankers now. I believe the red shoes, so I think the name is Good, Very Good Girl and Very Good Girl Glam. I know those are super popular. Personally, I hate those, can't stand them. I think they have raspberry notes. I'm not sure, I don't remember, but I had samples and I wore the samples, and I remember I was just really waiting to be able to wash it off. It was too strong, it was too, yeah, it was really not for me. So I think that you either love this one or the red shoes. And there's also a pink one that's kind of nice. I think the pink one, I think it's Good Girl Blush. That one is a little bit in between the original, this one, and the red ones. So Very Good Girl and Very Good Girl Glam. So yeah, love this one. The performance is fantastic, stays a long time, and it creates a really, really nice scent bubble. Like I said, I put it into this category because I do think it's more of an evening scent. And I do think it shines a lot more in fall and winter than in spring and summer. But it's also a warm floral, so yeah. But that is Good Girl by Carolina Herrera. You know what? I'm gonna move the tray a little bit to the side so I can show you the notes and accords here. So the next fragrance that I put into this category is one of Zara's all-time best fragrances, in my humble opinion. It is Hypnotic Vanilla Bloom. I made a video about this one when I reviewed it when it first came out, and I kept my bottle because it's really, really good. One, the performance is absolutely fantastic. I know Zara still has the reputation of not lasting. The perfumes don't last, they don't last. I read this comment all the time and I just don't agree at all. There are so many fragrances by Zara that have fantastic performance. And I know that there are also fragrances that don't last. That is true, but it's just not necessarily a thing when it comes to Zara fragrances. It really depends on the fragrance, especially these types of bottles. These are called chapter bottles. They usually really do last, especially this one. Whenever I wear it, people definitely smell me. I smell me hours later. I can still smell my own scent bubble, so no complaints in that department. So what does it smell like? Like I said, I made a full review video. I will link it in the description below, but it's pretty long and I'll keep it short here. It smells like Dior Hypnotic Poison, but it's not like a full-on dupe. They do have an actual dupe, which is just called Hypnotic Vanilla, but this is Hypnotic Vanilla Bloom, so it does have a little bit of a floral note, and the floral note in here, I believe, is pear blossom. Now, if you would have told me that it was cherry blossom, I would have 100% believed it. I don't smell the difference between pear blossom and cherry blossom, but it doesn't really matter. It smells super, super nice. I prefer this way over the Hypnotic Vanilla and even over Dior Hypnotic Poison. This one is more up my alley just because of that pear blossom note. It's a little bit more floral, which I prefer, but it's not like a full-blown floral. So it still is vanilla, and it really has that typical Hypnotic Poison DNA in it as well. Absolutely love it. Like I said, it is one of my absolute favorite fragrances by Zara. This one is absolutely fantastic. I think they have 30 ml bottles as well, but I love that I have this big bottle and I can't wait to wear this. For me, this really shines in winter. And every time that I wear it, my husband compliments me on it. He loves it as well, but to be fair, he's always loved the Dior Hypnotic Poison DNA. So makes sense, but this Bloom version he loves as well. So yeah, that is Hypnotic Vanilla Bloom by Zara. Next up, another Zara fragrance in the same type of bottle, the chapter bottle. It is Amber in Bloom. I also made a review video about this collection. There were 4 amber fragrances. I believe they have returned, but I think they have only returned in the 30 ml bottles and no longer in these 80 ml bottles. But yeah, with Zara, anything's possible. So maybe in a while they'll release the big bottles again. I don't know. But there were 4 ambers in that collection. I also made a review video about those. I will link it in the description below as well. But the thing is, when I smelled this one, I remember really liking it a lot. And I thought it reminded me of Rouge Malachite by Armani Privé. Since a few weeks, I'm the proud owner of original Rouge Malachite by Armani Privé. I have that one in my collection now, and I can now verify that this is absolutely a dupe for it. Although it's very close, it's a very close dupe, but the real thing, maybe it's just in my mind, but I do prefer to wear my real Rouge Malachite now over this one. Also, this one smells great, performance again fantastic, but there is something in the dry down, the final dry down, that doesn't 100% work for me. But yeah, still an amazing fragrance. In case you don't know what Rouge Malachite smells like, it's a tuberosy, ambery fragrance, very warm. Would think that the more prominent note in this one would be the amber. I still think it's more of a tuberose fragrance, but definitely a warm, evening, creamy, darker type of tuberose, so not bubblegummy my way, like nothing like that. I think it's amazing. I have to say tuberose is probably my #1 favorite floral note. So yeah, makes sense that I love this one, as well as the Good Girl fragrance, which is also tuberose. Love it. It's a compliment getter as well, but gotta be honest, now that I have the real Rouge Malachite, I don't know if I still need this in my collection, but I highly recommend it nevertheless. That is Amber in Bloom. Let me know in the comments if you think it's a good dupe for Rouge Malachite or not. I actually think they're very close. Next up, we again have a Zara fragrance, and again in the chapter type bottles. This one is a smaller bottle. This is 50 ml. Also one that I recently made a video about. I reviewed this one and the other 2 of this collection. This is Lush Vanilla, and it is created by Jérôme Epinette for Zara. He already had a collaboration with Zara, I think around 2 years ago. Also made a review video about those fragrances, but relatively recently, I think it's about maybe 2-3 months ago, something like that, I reviewed these new ones. So they released 3 vanilla fragrances and I kept all 3. The other ones are in other categories. This is not my favorite. My favorite is Captivating Vanilla. But again, I will link the video in the description if you want to watch all of the reviews in depth. In short, Lush Vanilla I believe to be the most popular one amongst these 3 vanillas. Again, not for me, but I think it's a very easygoing fragrance. It is vanilla, it's fruity, it's like a warm, fruity very easygoing vanilla, and apparently it's a dupe for Kayali's Vanilla Sugar Rock Candy, something like that. I don't even know the full name. But yeah, that one, the pink bottle. So this is a dupe for that. When I made my review video, I hadn't actually smelled the Kayali one, but I thought this one smelled similar, not exactly the same, but similar to Sultry Pear, also by Zara, which in its turn is actually a dupe for Jean Paul Gaultier La Belle. So Jean Paul Gaultier La Belle, Sultry Pear, Lush Vanilla, and Kayali Candy Rock Sugar, they are all pretty similar. If you own La Belle and Candy Rock Sugar and you often wear them, then you are probably more trained, let's say, to actually notice differences. But let's be honest, if you don't really know the fragrances that well, they're pretty similar. The difference between Lush Vanilla and Sultry Pear, which is the one that I compared it to, is that this one has a little bit of a patchouli note, which I can really appreciate. I used to own Sultry Pear. I actually owned it for quite a long time, wore it I think I wore it about maybe 6-ish times, something like that. And I always enjoyed it, but I always thought that it lacked a little bit of sophistication. I thought it was a little bit flat, a little bit too simplistic, let's say, even though nice and enjoyable. This one is like Sultry Pear, but a little bit more complex. Not super complex, nothing crazy, but I think it's just, it has that little something that I missed in Sultry Pear. Having said that, I think this is a fantastic fragrance. I have worn it quite a bit, but the dent is not just mine. My husband actually wore it a few times as well. He loves vanillas. Even though this is marketed towards women, I think, you know, I actually think everyone can wear it. He wore it, and I remember that every time that he wore it, I did tell him how amazing he smelled. So I didn't think he smelled like a woman or anything. He just smelled like a cozy vanilla. Having said that, not sure whether I'm gonna keep it in my collection, even though it smells really nice, very enjoyable, very pleasant. The one thing that I somewhat dislike, which is a big word, it's not really a dislike, but something that bothers me just a little bit, is that I think it smells a little bit youthful. I'm 37. Again, there's no age to fragrances, I know that, but for me personally, whenever I smell it, I do think of someone a little bit younger. I kind of think of someone in their 20s. Nothing wrong with that, but I just don't know if it's 100% me, even though it smells fantastic. So am I going to keep it in my collection? I'm not sure yet, but if you like vanilla and you like easygoing vanillas, or you just know that you like Kayali Candy Rock Sugar, then I would highly advise you to get this one, or at least try this one. Don't blind buy it. But yeah, they re-released only this one of the collection. The other two are not available at Zara anymore, but this one is, and I believe that it's now available in an 80 ml bottle. So yeah, that is Lush Vanilla, very nice. Also, apparently it has a kiwi note. I can't really say that I smell kiwi, honestly. I just smell fruit. If it had said that it was pear, I would have believed that it had pear. I always take the notes with Zara fragrances with a huge grain of salt, and actually I take all notes on Fragrantica or on the website of fragrances with a huge grain of salt, because I feel like they're just sort of planting ideas in our heads by telling us the notes. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but it just smells fruity. I don't really think it smells super kiwi-like, but yeah, that is Lush Vanilla. Of this next fragrance, I just have a decant, because I was always very curious to know what it smelled like. It's very popular. A lot of vanilla lovers love it. And even though it's marketed towards men, I always read that it's super unisex. And then I saw someone offering to sell, well, someone selling decants of it, and I just saw an opportunity, so I got it. And that is Mercedes-Benz Club Black. So I have this little decant. I was very excited to try it. I actually got it for my husband because, again, he really likes vanillas. I don't really know if he actually remembers that he has this, because I took it off his tray to show you in this video, but I don't really think he wears it It has a little bit of a dent, but I think that's me using this. Don't really remember. It's been a while. So this one is, I totally get why it's so popular. It's a very easygoing, smooth, ambery vanilla. And they were absolutely right. It's perfectly unisex. Very, very nice. I believe it has a jasmine note, or at least some sort of a white floral note, making it, in my opinion, very easygoing and very likable. So it's not a very dark and heavy, moody, masculine vanilla. I think it's pretty easygoing, although I do think it belongs in this category, as I would personally only wear this in the evening. And I also think it would shine in colder weather. Again, I've had this for, I think I've had it for maybe even 3 years. Kind of forgot about it because it was on my husband's tray, but I think he forgot about it as well. So I need to revisit this one, but yeah, it smells super, super nice. Like I said, I totally understand why it's popular. If you're on the fence about this one, I'm not saying blind buy. You know that I would never advise someone to blind buy, but if you are thinking of blind buying, honestly, I don't really think you can truly go wrong with this one. I think it's a difficult one to hate, especially if you know you like vanillas. So for me, this is a win, even though I forgot about it. I think I'm going to revisit this one as well. And if it turns out that I haven't worn it this winter either, then I might just declutter it, but not because it's not a good fragrance, because it is. Yeah, I'm actually excited to wear this one again. So yeah, that is Mercedes-Benz Club Black EDT. Next one is yet another Zara fragrance. I do think this is the last one, so we're gonna get into these designer fragrances in just a minute, and I'm gonna keep it short because I already made a review about this one. It is a Golden Decade and Warm Saffron. This one was recently released, and shortly after it was already discontinued. It was on sale, so I don't know why, because it's fantastic. This, for me, even though I see a lot of people downvoting it on Fragrantica, which I don't get, but this to me is pretty clearly a dupe for Libre Le Parfum, which I also like. I never got it because I already have original Libre, and I also have original Zara Golden Decade, which is a dupe for Libre Intense. So I never really got the Le Parfum, but I've always really liked that one. And for me, this is it's close enough to be called a dupe. I mean, there are always some differences, but to me, it's obviously at least inspired by Libre Le Parfum. This has a leather note, if I'm remembering correctly. Now, I don't think it smells leathery at all. Maybe not at all. Maybe it has a little bit of leatheriness, but don't worry, it's not a full leather fragrance, because I kind of hate the note of leather in fragrances. I really struggle with that note, and I love this fragrance. So apparently the leather is not as prominent as you would think. I know that it's pretty high up on the accords on Fragrantica, but I just don't agree with that. To me, it's Libre Le Parfum. If you don't know what that smells like, it's like an orange blossom jasmine saffron fragrance. It's very wintry and fall, but this absolutely again shines in colder weather, dark, moody, stormy weather, the colder months, wearing a coat, like a wool coat or leather boots or something, all black outfit, you're doing your Christmas shopping. Yeah, that is when I would wear a fragrance like this. I definitely don't think it's appropriate for the other seasons. Me, definitely only fall and winter, and not even like early fall, but late fall when it's really getting cold and rainy. I think it's a fantastic fragrance. Unfortunately, like I said, already discontinued, but again, Zara re-releases fragrances all the time. So yeah, that is Golden Decade and Warm Saffron. This video is already getting too long, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. The next one is also relatively new in my collection, and also one that my husband wears. He loves this one. He actually loves it more than I do, but I still really, really like this one. It is, and if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Paris Corner Khair Felicity. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but yeah. This is a dupe for Kayali, the Wedding Silk Santal. And I only got this one because I was at the fragrance or the perfumery with him sniffing some fragrances, and I saw the Silk Santal one finally in the store, because I remember that there was some time where it was very rare and everybody was looking out for the Wedding Silk Santal. Prices on eBay were super high and it was a limited edition and everybody was looking for it. But now it's part of the permanent collection, so it's available everywhere, and I finally gave it a sniff and I thought it was okay. I didn't really get the hype, but I remember spraying it on and my husband was absolutely crazy about it. He said, oh my god, which one is that? Please get it. I don't want to buy an actual Kayali fragrance. Kind of think they're a little overpriced. I know a lot of people probably don't think they're expensive, but yeah, I also rarely or almost never buy niche fragrances. I'm more of a budget fragrance type of gal, so didn't want to spend the coins, and I knew there was a dupe, this one, so I just took a chance and blind ordered this one, and it smells absolutely fantastic. And every time I wear it, my husband again tells me how good it smells, and when he wears it, I think he smells amazing as well. So really good dupe for Kayali, the Wedding Silk Santal. Khair Felicity, budget friendly, huge bottle. Yeah, I'm very happy to have this one. I'm definitely going to be wearing a lot of this upcoming fall and winter. And also, I'm a little surprised because it's very vanilla-y, but I really like it. I know I've said this 100 million times already, so sorry if you're hearing it again. But yeah, gourmand vanillas, not really my thing, but I just don't think this is sticky sweet. I don't think it's too gourmand. It doesn't make me think of a snack. It's more just powdery, just a powdery, soft, nice, warm, cozy vanilla. Very happy with this one. Speaking of Kayali, I think this is the third Kayali fragrance already, because this is a dupe for Kayali, this is a dupe for Kayali, and this one I bought secondhand, so it's a partial bottle, or it was a partial bottle, so that's why I was able to buy it for a very nice price. And I know this is also sort of a love or hate fragrance. So this is definitely not a blind buy safe fragrance. It is invite only Amber 23. I remember the first time smelling this, I really liked it. I sprayed it on a tester strip and I took it home with me. And I just remember sniffing this tester strip in my car, just thinking, wow, this would smell so nice on a scarf, again, in colder weather. So yeah, this has a lot going on, and again, a lot of people hate it, but this is sweet, ambery. I believe it has an oud note, and it actually has a bunch of notes that are tricky to me. If I had seen the notes before sniffing it, I would probably wouldn't even have tried it, because it just really, looking at the notes, it really looks like something that I would absolutely hate. But turns out I really love it. It is very ambery, but it's so sweet. It's really sweetened up amber, making it so nice and pleasant, and it's very impressive. Also, I think it's very unique. Can't really compare this to another fragrance that I know. It's not a very typical, oh, I've smelled this before type of fragrance. I thought it was really original. So I think the latest releases by Kayali are just all, not all, I mean, they're nice, but I do think they're a little, yeah, they're very crowd pleasing and a little youthful, a lot of them. Personally, that's just my opinion. Don't be offended if you love the fragrances and I just said that to me they smell a little youthful. That's just how I feel, but this one is a bit older, and to me it's just so much more sophisticated. By the way, they just released 2 new fragrances, Milky Musk, which I kind of liked, and I forgot the name of the other one, something with chocolate, but the chocolate one, in short, is a dupe for Angel's Share by Kilian. Not saying it's exactly the same, but it's very clearly inspired by that one. Just letting you know in case you were interested or you're curious about those 2. But yeah, back to invite only. Again, not a safe blind buy. If you look at the notes and you think this might be for you, I would highly, highly advise you to go and test it first. love or hate type of fragrance. Let me know in the comments if you are team love or team hate. I'm team love. I got this one not last year but the year before. Last year I was pregnant. I was in my first trimester, barfing my soul out of my body, so I didn't wear any of my winter and fall fragrances. I could not stand fragrance or anything. Everything stank so much. My house stank, my clothes, my husband, his deodorant, toothpaste stank, shampoo. So yeah, I couldn't stand any smells. And that's probably why I'm extra excited to be wearing my fall and winter fragrances this year. So this one is going to be on the November and December tray. Kayali invite only, yeah. Next up is one that I sort of blind bought because it was recommended by Anna. She's a YouTuber, Anna Lauren, I believe her name is. I really like her videos, and I recently watched her full fragrance collection video, and this was in it because she raved this one, and because she mentioned that it was discontinued. I don't know what it is with hearing a fragrance is discontinued, because then I get huge FOMO and then I have to just have it in my collection because I'm scared that I'm gonna end up loving it and that I don't have it. It doesn't make any sense. Never mind. But so I blind bought it. It is Nomade Absolu by Chloé, and I actually owned the original Nomade. I decluttered it, not because it's a bad fragrance, because I've always thought it was pleasant, but it was just a like for me. I thought it was a likable, easygoing, everyday type of fragrance, and I went through a declutter phase where I just wanted to keep the loves and get rid of the likes. So anyway, this one is the Absolu, and she was right. It has been discontinued. I do think you could still find it here and there on secondhand platforms, which is where I found this one. But I remember I received it. I had sniffed it once in store, but I just really didn't remember what it smelled like, so it was kind of a blind buy. Received this bottle, gave it a sniff, and I thought, you know what, it's not that great. I'm probably going to resell it again. But I kept on sniffing it throughout the day and, well, the days. So every time I passed my fragrance tray, I sometimes just sniff my bottles just for fun. And every time that I gave this one a sniff, I liked it more than the previous sniff. And now I think I actually am going to keep it. And the thing that I really like about this fragrance is that, to me, this really captures what fall season smells like. Not that it smells like dead leaves or anything, but it's a mossy, it's like a warm, mossy chypre. And there's something about it that really, really makes me think of a walk through a forest wearing rubber boots and a raincoat, and afterwards sipping on some coffee on a terrace with red and orange leaves blowing through the wind. That's kind of the image that I get whenever I sniff this fragrance. So I liked it more every time I sniffed it. So yeah, thank you, Anna. She absolutely loved it, and that is why I got it, and I am gonna wear it for the first time this fall. I don't know if it's a love for me, but it's definitely a strong like, and I can't wait to wear this. If you like this fragrance, again, it has been discontinued, so don't wait too long to get it if you still want it, if you can still find it at least. But yeah, Nomade Absolu de Parfum by Chloé. Now this next one kind of has the same story. It is also one that I think smells so fall-like, and it was also recommended by Anna, the same Anna. I will link her channel in the description below. And I also blind bought it because I saw it on her video. This is a while ago. This one I've bought very early on in my fragrance journey, and I ended up loving it. Now, this is Angel Muse. Has been discontinued for quite a while, so if you can still find it, you're lucky, because I think it has been discontinued for 3 years now, something like that. But the thing is, this is definitely not blind buy safe at all. I'm lucky that I ended up loving it. But this is a very, very heavy patchouli fragrance. Although it has a lot of patchouli, which I usually don't like. I like a little bit of patchouli. I think that brings sophistication to a fragrance, but this one is very heavy on the patchouli, yet I love it. It has a little bit of a sweetness, but not anything gourmandy or anything, just a very nice, easygoing sweetness. Actually, it is a little bit gourmand, but it's not like a typical, like typical gourmands. I would not really classify this as a gourmand, even though it has a gourmand aspect. But because it's so patchouli heavy, it's just very different than other gourmands. It also has a vetiver note, something that is tricky to me, but in here, I don't know what it is. It's just a masterpiece, and it's such a shame that it has been discontinued. Granted, it does smell a little bit old school, a little bit outdated, but that doesn't stop me from loving it. I think it's fantastic. So again, thank you, Anna. Nomade, Absolu, and Angel Muse, two really fantastic fragrances. Kind of different though. This one is a lot more easygoing than this one. Oh, and also a lot of people think this smells like Nutella. I get it, but again, think Nutella with a bunch of vetiver and patchouli. So not photorealistic, edible Nutella. Next up, one that I think is absolutely fantastic, but I honestly almost never wear it. Luckily, my husband thinks it's fantastic as well, and he does wear it. And that is this fantastic Jo Malone. It is Myrrh and Tonka. It is one of their intense cologne versions. So I know Jo Malone also has the reputation of, I just cleaned this bottle. They also have the reputation of not lasting, but those regular bottles, let's say, so the translucent bottles, they are colognes, eau de cologne. So yeah, they don't last because they're just very light, especially wood sage and sea salt. Smells great, doesn't last for shit. This one, or at least all of these intense ones, they do last. They have very decent performance. They're still a little pricey, but I think this one is just an absolute masterpiece. So Myrrh and Tonka is a lavendery myrrh, so ambery Tonka fragrance. Pretty much says it in the name, but I think the lavender should be mentioned as well, which is probably what also makes it so unisex and what makes my husband love it as well. It smells great on him, it smells great on me. I love lavender fragrances. In my previous video, I also talked about some lavender and vanilla fragrances. So this is yet another one in my collection. Like I said, I don't really wear it that often, maybe because it's a little unisex. I just don't really reach for it a lot, but every time I give it a sniff or my husband wears it, it reminds me of how fantastic this is. So good, seriously amazing. And I wore this a few years ago at a Halloween party. I was dressed up as the girl from the movie The Ring, the one that crawls out of the well and then crawls out of the TV. That was my costume, and I wore this fragrance. I thought it was suitable, and now every time that I smell it, it reminds me of that Halloween party. Yeah, Myrrh and Tonka, absolutely love it. One of the best ones by Jo Malone, and pretty different from other Jo Malone fragrances because most of them are very light and floral and very simplistic. This one is fantastic. Highly recommend trying it out if you like lavender, amber, and Tonka fragrances. Next up, one of my all-time absolute favorite fragrances. We have this gorgeous bottle by Guerlain. You probably already recognize it. It is Mon Guerlain, but this is the Intense. So in my previous video, I talked about other Mon Guerlain flankers. Again, I have 5 different versions of Mon Guerlain, and this Intense version is definitely one of my absolute all-time favorite fragrances. This is a lifer, the original is a lifer, the floral version is a lifer, but this one definitely shines in fall and winter. I would say winter even more when it's really, really cold. Look at the color of this juice. Oh. So if you don't know what the Mon Guerlain DNA smells like, it's all based around lavender and vanilla. This one has more of that vanilla. It's a little heavier on the patchouli as well. It smells so classic. I think it's timeless, extremely feminine, even though it's a lavender fragrance. A lot of people think lavender is more of a masculine note. I think this is like the epitome of feminine. No, I don't know how to finish that sentence. I just think it reminds me, or when I smell it, I imagine this absolutely stunning, beautiful woman. The original does the same, but when I smell the original, I think of that stunning woman in the daytime, and when I smell this one, I think of that stunning woman in the nighttime. Absolute love for me. It's an 11 out of 10. If I could only keep one fragrance out of this entire tray, it would be this one. And the thing that I also love about this one is that it has such a classic touch without smelling outdated. So I can wear this and my grandmother can wear this. We can both wear this and nobody's gonna smell too modern or too outdated or anything like that. It's just, it's a stunner. Love it. Cannot recommend giving this one a try enough. But you do have to love lavender, and you have to like, or at least be able to tolerate, patchouli. We're almost getting there. The next one is by Maison Margiela. This is one of the Replica lines. You probably know these bottles, and this one is, in my opinion, the best one. It is Whispers in the Library. Sadly, very sadly, discontinued, and unfortunately it is really difficult to find. Don't just buy the first one that you can find on Vinted or Mercari or Carousel or eBay, because unfortunately there are tons and tons of fake ones going around of all of the Replica fragrances and also the Whispers in the Library. So if you find a bottle that is used, I believe that the chances of that being an original one are a lot higher than if you would find a bottle that is still neatly packed, especially if the price is suspicious. So anyway, this is Whispers in the Library. This is probably the most beautiful woody vanilla that I've ever smelled. I love woody vanillas. I don't even have a lot of, I hardly have woody vanillas. I don't know why, because it's actually a DNA that I really, really love. So why do I only have this one? Anyway, it smells like a woody vanilla, but the wood is more, it's a really soft wood. I think woody notes like cedar and all that, I think they can be very harsh. They can be masculine smelling. They can also smell like more like interior perfumes instead of human perfumes. But this one is so soft. It is sort of, it is sort of papery. I mean, obviously you get that image imprinted in your head by the name Whispers in the Library. So it does kind of smell like paper, like books. But honestly, if it didn't have this name, I don't know if I would, if my mind would have gone to books. But yeah, it smells so, so nice. Perfectly unisex. Like, I think a lot of woody vanillas are unisex. This one, absolutely perfectly unisex. Luckily, I also have a backup bottle that I got when I heard that it was being discontinued. So I am thinking of wearing this one a lot this fall. It's perfect for fall and winter, but I think I'm gonna wear it this fall already. My husband, again, loves this one as well. The performance is okay. I think it's decent. If you do have a new bottle, I think the performance was very light when I just had it. So I was disappointed by that, but the vanilla in here really does come stronger over time, and now my bottle has macerated a little and the performance is okay. Again, it's not super, because these fragrances also have the reputation of having bad performance, and I think that's true for a lot of them, not necessarily all of them. But this one is okay after maceration, although I do overspray a little bit whenever I wear this one. And this bothers me, and this also bothers me. Ooh. So Whispers in the Library, Coffee Break, and Jazz Club are probably my three favorite fragrances by Replica or by Maison Margiela. Absolute stunner. Again, such a shame this was discontinued. I don't know why they would do that. Please, Maison Margiela, bring this back for the people who don't have this one in their collection or don't have backup bottles. But yeah, that is Whispers in the Library. Stunning, stunning, stunning fragrance. And perfect for fall. I realize now that I actually forgot one of the fragrances. I forgot to put it on the tray, and I'm just going to talk really, really quickly about this one, as I've talked about it in a lot of my videos already, and that is Ebony Wood by Zara. If you have watched my other videos, you know that I'm highly, highly impressed with this fragrance, and I talked about it a lot because I do talk about Zara fragrances a lot. But yeah, this one, in short, is one of the most niche smelling perfumes that Zara ever released. Yes, Zara has niche smelling fragrances. Please, if you still think Zara is all just cheap and synthetic and doesn't last, then I would highly advise you to watch some of my videos. There are still those fragrances, but they also have released some really, really quality, just niche smelling, expensive smelling, and long lasting fragrances, and this is one of them. So this is created by Jo Malone. I still have the original bottle from when it was first released. The bottles look different now, but I'm assuming the juice is the same. Let me know if you know it's not, but I can't really imagine they actually changing the scent. So this is Ebony Wood. I don't think it smells like Ebony Wood. I think this smells like, in every one of my videos where I talk about this one, I've always described it as smelling like a dried sour cherry potpourri. So it's not a cherry smelling fragrance like you know cherry, like the sweet candy-like fruity cherry. It's nothing like that. It really smells as if you have actual sour cherries dried up, mixed with some cloves or some other dried up aromatic things, and you put it in a bowl on the table and it's potpourri. And that is sort of what this smells like. I know is a very weird description, but it's very difficult to describe this one any other way. It's fantastic. Highly recommend giving this one a try, but again, not at all a safe blind buy. This is also one of those loves or hates. Let me know in the comments if you're team love or hate with this one. A lot of people think it smells like Old Man. I kind of get it, but I still think it smells absolutely fantastic. And the reason that I forgot to put this on my tray is because it's on my husband's tray. I think it smells so good, but I do prefer to smell it on him. So I actually never wear it. He wears it from time to time, and every time that he does, I think he smells fantastic. And also, in my opinion, definitely a winter fragrance. Oh, and the performance is really, really good. Don't be fooled by the low prices or the relatively low prices, because now they're a little bit more pricey than when I got my bottle. But yeah, fantastic performance. Ebony Wood by Zara. And then the final one, which is one that is probably my husband's all-time favorite fragrance on me or on women in general. Although this one might have taken the new #1 spot. But that is this one, which you probably already know as well. It is Versace Crystal Noir. I have the EDT. Do I really think the EDT is better than the EDP? No. I like both. I don't know which one I prefer. And I saw this one on sale, so I just got the EDT. But honestly, the EDP is fantastic as well. The difference between the two, if I'm not mistaken, is that the EDP has a coconut note and this one doesn't. So what does it smell like? I remember the very first time that I gave this one a sniff and it made me think of Christmas. I don't know why. I don't know what it is that made me think of Christmas, but it did. I thought this would smell amazing when wearing this at a Christmas party. Also, this is definitely not for everyone, but it is one of the most complimented fragrances or most complimented designer fragrances out there. A lot of videos on YouTube. If you watch those, these are my most complimented fragrances videos on YouTube. A lot of times Versace Crystal Noir is one of them, or in the comments people are saying they get a lot of compliments on this one. And yeah, like I said, my husband loves it as well. This is very, it's a designer fragrance, but it's not generic, or it doesn't smell like your typical designer fragrance. It's very unique. I don't know what I can compare it with. The EDT has amazing, amazing performance. It does not have a softer performance than the EDP. Like I said, the only difference, if I'm not mistaken, is the coconut note that is not in here and that is in the other one, but they're both fantastic. It smells like gardenia. It smells spicy, but not, I don't know, I don't always like spicy fragrances, but this is just like spicy, like, yeah, Christmas spicy somehow. And smells really expensive, even though it's not an expensive fragrance at all. It doesn't smell super modern anymore. I believe it has been out for quite a while, but it's just a classic. It's so good. If you don't know this fragrance, I would highly advise you to just check it out and let me know what you think. It's just unique and it's fantastic and it has a low price, and I feel like people have forgotten about this one a little bit, or it's just not as popular anymore since, you know, the last few years there have been so many new perfumes. It's crazy. But this one, I don't think it should be forgotten, and I don't wear it often a lot. So I'm definitely looking forward to wearing it this year again. Versace Crystal Noir, amazing, just an amazing fragrance. But again, not a safe blind buy. So that's it for today. I was actually hoping that I could keep the video a little bit shorter. I realize now that I have not succeeded, but yeah, there are many fragrances on this tray, so I had to take my time with every single one. Let me know in the comments what you think of these fragrances. Do you know them? Do you own them? Do you also like them? Or I also want to know if you hate them. I'm especially curious about invite only, because I know that's like not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm actually curious to know all of your opinions. Let me know. Thanks for watching. The next category that I will be filming, I think I'm gonna be filming the warm floral category. Not sure when that will be, but subscribe if you want to see when I post that one. Have a nice day, and if you liked the video, a thumbs up would always be appreciated. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you for the next one. Bye!